Doop-a-doo. Hi, how are you guys doing? How is your Wednesday going? Oh yeah, I didn't empty the cup yet. Although, it's fine. I could leave that for today. It's fine. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. Having a chill time today. Did not get to doing the sock. Although, I was starting to do the thing for the heel, but I haven't gotten to that. So, that's a thing. We'll see if I get to that later. What else? Did like a wee bit of chores or two, but nothing pressing, so basically that's how my day has been. As you can see, stream title and such, gonna be playing around in my sketchbook for today, which I don't think I changed the symbols in that stream title. Pretty sure I didn't. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's not pressing, but it bothers me when they're not correct. So I'm just gonna fill around with that, but I hope you guys are doing well. There's gonna be some chill time with some chill music. Gonna be playing around in the sketchbook for the heck of it, also because I kind of want to actually get that filled up. Let's see. And then, nope. Let's not do that. And then, let's see. Alright, and copy. I think that was probably something on. Oh, and I didn't. Stupid. Why? I didn't realize I missed that. Damn it. Damn it. At least the stream title's correct, so there's that at least. I was staring at other things, so I did not properly check that this was actually correct. Oh, there's no point with the bit there to really change it now, because that only gets sent out once. You would think I remember these things by now. No, why are we not doing that? There it is. And then, that should be well enough. There we go. Fine. Close enough. But yeah, basically playing around with the sketchbook. Did I? No, I did not even take up my tablet, which is right there. I was hoping to use that for references. So I'm just gonna switch over to the scene here and then grab that. Yeah, it's a little bit dark and I might have to just turn this on now. I was hoping to avoid that, but where I'm sitting is a wee bit dark. And also, in a preventative measure, I'm just going to quickly disconnect my headphones from my phone. So I had done that earlier when I was connecting it to the computer, but I was like, you know what? It's fine. There you go. Just in case I get a random phone call, that doesn't get preempted. So, let's see. And which color pencil are we going to be using? To sketch here. I have black, but I don't really use the black here. Let's see. There's also darker blue. And did I not take up? No, I did not take up that either. Unless it's in here, but I doubt that. Looking around for my kneadable eraser. I'm pretty sure I didn't put it in my pencil case. That's helpful. I swear to put it in here. Oh, because I was staring at it on the bed. Cool. Alright. Kneadable eraser. Finally. Alright. You stay here on my marker case. Let's see. Yeah, so we're all the way over here. As you can see, I have like 14 pages left. Arguably, I could do like at least one spread, but let's see if I do a little bit of warming up here and there first before I even get to any of that. Let's see, do I want to draw more snail friends? Yeah, more snail friends sounds like fun. You'll probably have like different designs on the shell. I had the thought about drawing a snail the other day, so I just did this in pen. But the top part wasn't quite right. So I looked at a reference for this one, although I didn't do it exactly like the reference. And I just nudged my eraser all the way on the ground. That's great. Let's see. Yeah, let's put that over there. Let's see. Let's make this a little bit small and see how I feel about it. I don't know why I was thinking about snails the other day when I drew that first one, but they're not something I see terribly often, except when it rains, really, or if I'm like hanging out in the backyard. It's definitely more of a summer occasion. Yeah, similar thing, but let's see. Might give the shell a little bit of a pattern. Also, why is that? There it is. It's better. That was gonna annoy me. No, that's a bit too far. Alright. So I have not really stretched this thing in a while. It's probably good if I stretch this. Which I do know is starting to get at least a little bit dark. But nowhere near super dark. Oh, so this is not quite round, but we're gonna go with it. Maybe have like some polka dots of some kind on the shell. Okay, that's better. Alright, yeah, not muted. Also, let's see. Okay. Nothing pressing. Cool. try to somewhat keep an eye on Discord just in case something comes up I have to go and look at, which thankfully that is not a rare. Wait, that's the opposite of what I'm trying to say. That's not a frequent occurrence. It's pretty rare. To have anything that needs my immediate attention. Alright. Let's see. Yeah, that's good enough. Also, that pencil Marcus from the other day. I was doing the other side. I say the other day like that wasn't yesterday. Alright. Let's see. It would kind of be interesting to have a snail as a pet. Okay, yeah, it's kind of looking like that. Yeah, make that a little bit taller. The eye stalks for the eyes. And then there's like little whiskery things on its face, like they're feelers of some kind, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, let's firm up this line a little bit and make this a little bit darker. Let me come through here. And then let's get its wee little eye stalks and eyes. And then erase this little area. There's not supposed to be a line through there, because those aren't translucent. I know this is probably like the opposite of like winter. This just seems to be what I'm in the mood to capture at the moment. Add a little bit of shading over here. Also, let me not forget my drink. I know it seems to be approaching easy to drink temperature. Let's see. That, and then do. Alright, let's get that to be a little bit darker. Alright. Alright, so that looks good enough here. Although I'd definitely say give him, although I know Snail likely would not have spots, but I would take it to be at least fitting to go with the actual snail here. Arguably I could come in with a little bit of this. Oh, wrong color. I have a lighter blue. Trying to be careful and not press too hard and end up snapping this thing. Because that would be my luck. Also, it helps to be able to have like a more delicate touch. Alright, come here with the light blue a little bit. And then come here with the dark blue, which this is just blue. I call it a dark blue because it's a bit more bold compared to the other one. Okay, not bad of a snail. And then let's see about getting maybe some tufts of like dandelion blowing around. Okay, I think that's alright. So I'm still squishing this kneadable eraser in this hand. Cause I know it's kind of like a nice stress ball to have this like being squished around in your hand. Really, really handy. Alright. This should allow it to not be terribly stiff now. Alright, so we have ourselves a snail. Some dandelions blowing in the leaves. What else can I go with? Which I was looking at Pinterest where I have a bunch of references, and I was looking at some snails. And there are some giant snails. It's ridiculous and kind of weird. Also kind of interesting. Come on. There it is. I have like a stupid ton of references, like stupid ton of them. Where are they? Oh, found it. Like, look at this snail. Like, it looks like a house pet. How giant it is. Like, dude. It's kind of cute. But yeah, it's a giant snail. Crazy. It kind of makes me want one because you would not have to do terribly much. I mean, I feel like you would have to clean their shell, arguably. You know, that's where they live and such. But other than that, also feed them, clearly. But yeah, I feel like they're not high maintenance when it comes to taking care of. Let's try this cow here. Now that we've warmed up a little bit. Alright. Let's see. Face shape. Also, look at the lashes on this cow. Like, these are some serious anime level lashes. Like, look. Not trying a cow before, so let's see if I... And then I would say... And then we have these very floofy looking ears. Let's see. Hi, I need to zoom in on this picture. Nope. Come on, I just need to go to this side, please. I'm not trying to zoom in on its eyes. I just want to see how the ear is. Okay, yeah, something like that. So, let's see. I would say, oh, that's a little too far. Yeah, wee bit too far. And then something like that, and then maybe come back down. Potentially go something like that, which, let me just zoom in a little bit. Move this a little bit closer. That's better. Can't see terribly much going on right now just because I'm trying to go lightly and figure out what the heck. And then, let's see, I guess the eye is about like here-ish. And then the nose is like a giant pupper's nose. So stinking cute. Let's see. Also, I kind of feel like maybe we should play a drinking game to see how many times I've said "let's see" so far. Someone would probably perish of alcohol poisoning at this point. Given I said it so many times. Alright. I don't think I like this. Yeah, this kind of reminds me of a cow rather than a cow. You know what I mean? A pig rather than a cow. There we go. That's better. Alright. Yeah. Don't need to see that right now. How about if I just turn off my notifications? It'll stop bothering me. There it is. I should stop having alerts now. It's like a little floof of hair, like right in here. That's a little too long. Alright, and let's give this cow. Fur is not one of my strong suits, so this is like one of those things where I'm just like, Okay. I think we're coming up alright. Which, this is what we're looking at right now. I'm just like, not bad. Alright, maybe a slight bit of shading here to differentiate here from the sides there that are a bit white. Not bad. I feel like the eyes, though, could use a little bit of work here. Okay, that works, I think. So, Yeah, might try that again, see if I can get that a little bit better. I think the hair on the ears could be a wee bit shorter. Let's get a little bit closer over here, because that's completely out of frame. It is always anything soothing to get some sketchbook work done here and there. Also, I kind of want to doodle some ideas for maybe a sticker or something. Which my brain is kind of inclined to go with plants in that direction, but it's like, I tend to keep the stickers I print related to stream stuff, but at the same time, there's honestly only so many things you can do with, say, yarn. Which, yes, yarn's not the only thing I use, but it's definitely tends to be more of the focus. Alright. Are we good now? Yeah. Let's see. Which, yes, I'm aware I'm not drawing the little, I think that's is that Daisy? Something. The flower it has in its mouth, but I'm just like, Ah, okay. Yeah, I hadn't done that there. It's supposed to curve like that. There's supposed to be some room. Put that little fluffet of hair on top here, and then go from there. Although, let me erase where that line is. No, I'm not trying to go to BuzzFeed. I'm trying to look a little bit closer at the little moo cow here. I imagine some people would be stupid jealous of how long this thing's lashes. Like, you would think it had extensions, which I would hope not. And then, let's see. Flicking those lashes in here. Then ear from there to, I don't think, about here. There's a little white space between that and the nose we've got here. And then it's a little bit like so. Nope, not that close. I think it's a little bit over. Put that there. I'm aware our lovely cow is missing their ears, but we will get to that in a moment. Although given other cow right next to it is going to cut off what the ears look like a wee bit. Yeah, it's a little too, yep. Cow ears. Why must you be like this? And then that little bit right there, because it's just going to cut off the rest of it. And that's fine. I'm not sure about that left eye, it looks a little misshapen, but it's fine. Wait, we got some shading in here. And then, let's see. Yeah, little tufts go in a bunch of different directions, so let's see if I can get that to go. A bunch of different ways. I'll help make the air floof look a little bit more like floof. Maybe. I should do a study on fur at some point to make this go at least a little bit better, but maybe eventually at some point. Oh, so that's a bit too, yeah, it's a bit too long. A little bit shorter. Okay. It's a little bit thick here. Maybe I should stick the thing in its mouth. Oh, so I realized I have not mentioned this today. I meant to put it as a timer, but I forgot. Friday is going to be the last stream I do of 2021. So definitely, if you want to see it, definitely come hang out with us then. I am planning to do the giveaways I'm was planning on doing last week. So donut pin and other thing. I haven't fully decided on what, which is the main quandary of why I shoved that one back. But yeah, 2 giveaways. I mean, if anything else happens to come up that day, I will do it as well. But basically, general plan is to craft, hang out, have some fun, and chat with you guys, as usual. But I do hope you can come and join us. Usual time, likely to start and finish. If I do get the urge and happen to get everything together, might start early, but definitely no promises there. Okay. I'm not sure. I think I like the first one better. I'll be real honest. I'm not sure about how I did it. Alright, so we can go to this page here, which, how long do we have till... Okay, first break is in about, like, 7 minutes, so I could spend some time doodling around a little bit, like maybe a potted plant. Let me switch colors here. Whoops, let's not do that. Alright, maybe a potted plant. See how it looks off the top of my head. It's gonna be a pretty rough circle. Yeah. Let's try that again. It's not quite right. There we go. Slightly better. And then, let's see, what kind of plant do I want? Do, do, do. Gently. It's better. Oh, you guys cannot see Actually, yeah, you can kind of see it. But it has a hard time getting the purple unless I went on this a little bit darker. And I can get a large one right up here. Probably would have been better to sketch this with the green, because I have two green ones, but it's pretty fine as is. Can't see what that looks like. It's gonna be out of frame. Not out of frame, but out of line of sight there. I think maybe a fifth one. Nope, too big. Too big. Let's try again. Okay, so now that we have that pretty much all set, let's start at least picking up some of these lines. I might add a little bit of color to this when I get back, maybe? Or I could just draw another one. Let me just at length. Add where the shading would be right now. Alright, I think, did I finish my... Okay, I finished my drink. Hey! I forgot, because my brain was like, hey, let's draw stuff, and completely forget whether or not I was actually doing that. Alright, so let's see. Might fidget with the saturation a little bit so you can see the lighter sketches, and then I'm gonna go take my first break for today. Let's see. Camera. Bigger. Oops. Where you go? Let's see. No, come back. There it is. Yeah, gain's all the way up. Let's see the sharpness. Yeah, it's a bit too sharp. Okay, the focus might be where we need to deal with. That, or I just need to clean that thing off, because it doesn't look like it's focusing as well as it should be. Let's see. Autofocus. Let's see. I usually don't like having autofocus on. Okay. Did not change. Interesting. Alright, so turn that off. Let's see if I can maybe get a wee bit of zoom going on. No, that's fine enough as is. Alright. Then white balance. A little bit more towards this way, maybe. About there. Alright. So, I'm gonna go take my break. I'll be back in about the usual 10 minutes. Gonna get up and stretch also. Ta-da! Anybody who happened to pop in during the break. Also, let me turn this down. It feels a little loud in my ear. But yeah, welcome anybody who popped in during the break. I'm here just doing some random sketching and doodling in my sketchbook. Because I'm mainly trying to fill up my sketchbook by the end of the year, which feasibly should be doable. As long as I do about 2 pages a day, which this sketchbook, I don't think I'd mentioned this before, this sketchbook is about, not even about, its pages are 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches, so if you do a spread, it would be 9 by 4.5 here. Which, I could arguably do a spread of plants, maybe? That would not be a bad idea. We'd get a couple of different plants. Maybe have a fence? That would not be a bad idea. But I'm gonna probably forego having any color right here. Just because I don't want the... Because you can see with what I did here, the marker color is like bleeding through the other side, so it's slightly difficult to see what I did here. Not impossible, just a little bit of a task. So, basically, the idea is I'm gonna likely go over here and then wait till I'm over here to add a little bit of color. Although, arguably, I could add some color with my color pencils and not have to worry about have any color bleed through on there. But, I'm kind of not in the mood for them right now. Jen! Hello. How goes? I'm just chatting here before I jump back in here. I'm just in my sketchbook doodling and such. How goes? Hopefully, or Wednesday. I was literally about to say Saturday. I'm like, no, that's not the right day. Saturday would be Christmas. But yeah, hopefully, our day's going well so far. Basically warmed up a bit with the snail up here. Gave it some polka dots, and then tried to do from reference a cow. But I've not done a cow before, so it was a little weird. Not terrible, but it could be better. And so, looks like I smudged a bit of pencil around here. So it feels like I did. Looking through a web's catalog. Ooh! Anything you see that's of interest? Also, where's the other? Oh, I put it in here. Alright. Let me grab the green. Also, this is so predictable of me color-wise. I picked the blues and the purple to sketch with, even though I have a bunch of colors. Because of the Cola Race pencils. I have a bunch of different colors I could choose from. But in part, it depends on if I'm going to keep it a sketch or add color on top of that. It's partially what matters. Where's green? I have 2 shades of green in here. They should be findable. Okay. Light green. And... where are you? Green. There you are. Ta-da! Giant pencil case. Alright. You stay over there. Alright, so I've got that. And we got this little house plant going on here. Maybe I could do a spread of these. Maybe. I wonder. Alright, I pull this. Is this pointy enough? Yeah. Potentially. Yeah, I'd keep that like that. Let's define that line just a smidge. Alright. Also, oh, okay. A lot of pretty things using expensive yarn. Isn't that always the case? Oh my god. Pretty much almost always the case. Like this really pretty scarf. Oh, well, let's look at that. I have not really looked through their stuff. Rodent, oh geez, 100, ow, no. Nope. That's pretty, but no. I mean, arguably you could, like, switch out colors. If you could find the pattern, I imagine the pattern might be there separately by itself. And then, you know, put in your own colors with, you know, less heart attack inducing expensive yarn. That might help. Alright. Alright, so... look at the lock screen! Yes, but you could probably find similar colors somewhere. But look at that cute gingerbread man. It changes, so it's not going to be the same thing. But I like that cute gingerbread man. So cute. Let's see. Let's see. References. Let's see. Plants. Yep, I have a bunch of plant life photos. I like to do that. Oh, I have star anise looking right there. Look at this. Stupid bright, like, neon colors, which neon is not typically my thing, but I like having something like that. Let's see. Okay, I meant to do this in green, didn't I? Where are we? Although arguably I could just keep the spread in purple. Yeah, it's fine. I could just keep it in purple. It's fine. Okay, yeah, you can see a tiny little fridge there on these leaves, kind of, sort of. The web scout. That does not surprise me, because I feel like to sell more yarn, it helps to sell more patterns and thus sell more kits and so on and so forth and etc. So it makes sense that that sort of thing would be the case. Also, I guess I should, yeah. But yeah, to a degree, arguably all of catalogs are like that, because you notice that with knit picks too. Knit picks slash we crochet. Whatever the hell you want to call them. They do that same thing. So it's just like, look at all these garments you can make out of all these yarns. And it costs such and such to make such garment. Although arguably their stuff is, depending on the project, less expensive. Arguably. Do. Although I can't see the top side of these. Oh, actually, no, right there. Oh, it's that same purple. Man, that is really a stark purple. That would be cool. Have as a plant. And wrong pencil. I need to stop having all of these damn pencils here. I don't think I talked to you with the sketchbook that I have after this one. I think I briefly showed it to you, but you were still in the midst of school stuff. So I don't think I got a chance to chat with you about it full on, if I'm not mistaken. Come on, get out of here. Yeah. Which, hilariously, I'm kind of like Goldilocks with these books, because, you know, my first one was 8.5 by 11 with the pages. This is 4.5 by 4.5. This is, what is this? 5.5 by 8. This one that I have here, which, again, I'm not a fan of this spiral bound. Plus, there's nothing to keep it closed, although the first one I didn't have one. Yeah, I like having this sort of size, because this, again, this is a little bit too small for me. I was hoping to get this sketchbook in an 8x8, but by the time I got to there, yeah, it's a bit big, but it holds, what you call it, like a good chunk of drawing. I keep it at school. Nice! But yeah, this and this are definitely more transportable friendly. Which, this is marker paper, so this stuff is like stupid smooth. 50 pages, so 50 sheets, so 100 pages. And this is a bit more absorbent. Actually, no, slightly less absorbent because this is 110-pound paper. But I think, how many pounds is this? I think 140. Which is why I can get away with, you know, gouache and all that stuff on there. Which, it does still bleed through, but, you know, as you can see, like, stuff like this, it bleeds through a little bit, but it doesn't, like, go through here. Plus, the markers do give me a little sheet thing, just in case of that happening. But yeah, I can't wait to draw it with this. It should be fun. Plus, it feels a little bit hardy. Ooh, watercolor postcards. I've pondered getting some of that, because, you know, Strathmore has some of those that you could do. But it's just one of those, it feels like a bit of an indulgence, so I haven't bothered. Alright. Let me get back to actually doing the thing I'm supposed to be doing, which is drawing. But yeah, I can check it out, because I have Discord open, as usual. I put in our things. Nice! Alright, let me poke at that now. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. There it is. Oh, those are some pretty reefs. I've not been doing anything with reefs, but it's just been like, eh. But these are really pretty. I like the blue. Kind of makes it frost. And then these up here kind of definitely a bit more grayish green for like a little bit of like warmth, but slightly desaturated, if that makes sense. But I like them. I like them a lot. The first one took like 3 hours. These gloss were not expensive, they hold a watercolor very well. Ooh. The detail, yeah. If you plan out like where the things are gonna go first and figure everything out, it helps a lot. Rather than just freeform it and see what happens. It helps to have at least a plan of some kind. But yeah, watercolor, you think it's gonna take like 5 minutes. It takes like a couple hours just because you forget the whole, things have to dry first, so that's a thing. Ooh, okay. Let's see. Blank, but kind of busy. Alright. Oh, that's a really good price. Also, I'm apparently being summoned. I will be right back. Yeah, it helps that they're not famous brand. But yeah, be right back. Why am I being summoned? Back! Sorry about that. My mom's on the phone with some internet peeps, so, well, not internet, more like what's its face, well, actually, Yeah, TV/internet. Because we have them all in the same thing. Yeah, she's calling them about stuff. But yeah, that is gonna likely sit on my wish list last in my cart. Because right now it says it can get it before Christmas, and I'm like, nah. Let's see. Put it on my ad. Where is it? So, put in art supplies. Cool. But yeah, the fact that they're not Strathmore or something brings down the cost a little bit, because Strathmore, I think, are like $16 when it comes to their pack of like, I think 25 watercolor cards. So that is very, very handy. Thank you for sharing them. I could put it as a thing, like say a sub-reward for next year maybe. Cause that also would just allow me to use stamps as well. That's certainly an idea. Oh, also my light ships, replacement light for this one right here. It's coming by regular postal service, which that explains why it says between the 24th and the 22nd. 27th. Words. So this is probably also a thing not going to get implemented till next year, which that is completely fine. I'm just annoyed it's coming by regular mail, because I bought both of them at the same time, but I'm guessing they didn't have that nearby in the closest warehouse to me. So that's interesting. I wonder why that is. Oh, parallel. I'm gonna have that one coming off the page. Although, that's not quite right. Also, it's kind of amusing. It's like, hey, it's winter, and I'm just like, let's just draw some greenery. Great. And puts this. Then, alright, that puts this over here. I do want to color this, given this is stupidly bright neon, which, if anybody's wondering what I'm talking about, I'm kind of taking from this. So it's like stupid bright greens and then some pinks on the edges and purples. It's kind of like, oh, what's that thing? Kind of sort of like, if not red cabbage, like, kind of reminds me of rhubarb, slightly, kind of, sort of. I think it might be the dark purple coloring of this. Also, let me look back at those watercolor cards to see. Okay, 300, okay. So same weight as the paper. Alright, cool. That works very well, so this is something I could stick into the mailbox. Awesome. Crap. I closed GiftBot. No. More like I closed the GiftBot bit here. GiftBot's still functioning. I just closed the thing up top like a dummy. Luckily I can get that back. Yay! Alright. That works. But speaking of GiftBot, do you guys have any opinion on whether or not you want to continue have GiftBot as a thing? Because it does not get terribly much use. It's not like serious hardship on me or anything, but I want to know if it has... What's the word I'm looking for? It has value and continue to be used. Is what I'm looking at here. Alright. And then I could stick another plant. Maybe, yeah, maybe a tiny. Or it could be a hanging plant. Yeah, it could be a hanging plant too. Because I like the idea of hanging plants, I just never draw them. Let me need this eraser. Which, I have 3 more of these because I bought a giant set of 4 last year. Well, not a giant set, but a set of 4. And this one has barely gotten any dinge to it. But it does help I don't always use pencils. I mean, guess when I set up sketches and stuff, that helps, but... pencils are not like the sole art medium within my purview, which, speaking of, mixed media sketchbooks are like really thin in the paper. Like, they do not have like that high of a paper weight to them. Like, they're not thick. I'm not sure why that would be, because it's like, if it's going to be mixed media, I feel like it should be thicker rather than thinner, in order to allow the paper to hold whatever medium that you're planning to use. So, you know, ink, markers, watercolor, gouache, etc. Because those are the art mediums I can think of because I use all of them. But yeah, I'm really surprised though that mixed media sketchbooks are not thicker in their paper weight. It's really strange to me, and it makes no real sense. I have sufficiently squish that. And let's see. What else? Do I want some flowers? Yeah, I want some flowers. Flowers sound fun. Or I could have some fluorescent mushrooms. That works too. Which, speaking of, look at these mushrooms. They're absolutely just stupid bright. I don't think I've really drawn mushrooms, if ever. It kind of reminds me of water. Like, thoroughly reminds me of water. I could save that for another page, though. So, because it probably won't fit the potted plant aesthetic, really. I'll keep that in mind. I could draw some mint, too. I like mint. Which we should have some mint tea, although I do have my chocolate mint tea. Although I did not drink that today. I had my dirty hot cocoa in this instance. Which I'd put a little bit of sugar in it. Yeah. Let's see. How do I want that to go? Would it make... No, it would not make terrible sense. Unless I go out like that, and it kind of just bows outwards for the heck of it. Yeah. But yeah, I do want some mint or something. Or I could go with a flower. One or the other. All the references. Oh, maybe these. Maybe these. I like these. Although I'm pretty sure these are not winter flowers. Also, let's move this out a little bit. That's better. Yeah. I can also have a nice little line. I have to make sure I put the plant on the other side first before I do that. I want to at least have a line saying like, hey, this is gate. Or fence. Because I tend to forsake backgrounds. Not that I don't like them, but sometimes it's just like either I forget or I tend to get invested in the thing I'm drawing. I tend to be like, oh yeah, backgrounds. Those kind of need to exist. Whoops. And then, yeah, I'm definitely gonna need to, ooh. Have this be some level of tile. Arguably, I could have went at this with some, with a ruler. That would have been smarter. Oh well. It's fine. It does not need to be perfect. That is not a square. Crap. That is not a square. Also, yeah, that feels a bit too far. That is not a square. And that will bother me. Come on. Let's try that again. Okay, that's closer to being a square. That's closer. And then... okay. So. I wonder where I'd put this with the background. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo. Okay. We've got that somewhat established. Gonna have to figure out some things. But yeah, my main concern is figuring out what plant to put in here right now. Plants. I did think I want that flower, but I'm not sure if I want that flower right now. I could go, let's see. Let's see. Are there any additional looking... It's like a super saturated blue. Let's see if I can get this to do the thing. Okay. Let's see if I can work this in. And then get this too. Yeah, you can go away from where we're hitting in our perspective here. And it's not straight, it's kind of bulbs out a little bit here. And they're kind of overlapping each other, I'd wager. Also, let's get that here, because you can't see what I'm doing. Whoopsie. Okay. Is that attached to this? I can't tell. Might be. Maybe. If so, I can go like this. And then add that. Maybe have at least a couple of stems to allude to the fact that there are at least a few more. And get one. This way. Gently sketch this. Try to not be too heavy-handed about it. Although I don't like that. Try that again. I realize we're at the 2-hour mark, but I am gonna do a minute or two more because I had to get up and deal with the thing. So, stand to hang out a minute or two before I take my second break. Not sure if I'm gonna go over today like I did yesterday because I have no pressing need to, but given I'm not streaming tomorrow, because tomorrow is Thursday, come on. And then make that. Oh, yeah, that would make better sense. That would arguably make better sense. Yeah, that's not quite right. Angular speaking, it'd be more like that. I was like, why does that look weird? Because it's not facing the right way if it's gonna be facing forward unless it's sticking out more. Alright. And then get the little things. And maybe go from there. Leave that be for now. Yeah, I can definitely pause here. Take my break. She says as she continues to fiddle with giant spread. Which, with this, means I have like 11 pages. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 11 pages left. Nice. I could doodle some more later. But I don't want to force it either. But I would want to improve on the cow face. Anyhow, I'm gonna take a break, see if there's anything I want to tweak on this, and then start applying some color for the fun of it. Because that's always the best part, getting to add color. Also, kind of a pain, depending on what you're doing. But yeah, I'll be back. Definitely feel free to get up and stretch if you've been hanging out with me for the past 2 hours. Feel free to play the drop, and we should be all good. There we go. Ta-da! I really should have this. Oh, I think that might be too bright. Yeah, I pressed it too high. My fault. I should have the. I wonder. Instead of having it flat on the table. Okay, I'm not. I figured you'd want it off to do something. That is perfectly fine. It's quiet in here, as it's wont to be whenever I'm streaming art, so I'll live. Okay, yeah. So you can kind of see it without less of the paper glare. I was cleaning office, boyfriend was vacuuming, we were wrangling cats. That is completely fair. Wrangling cats is very much a job. So that is... that I can foresee. Yeah. As you can kind of see here, have done a bit of spread of plants on a porch. Don't know why. Almost went to the... Oh no. What did Waffles do? Oh no. Did Waffles get saved by their cuteness? He opens the latch tab and I have expensive art and remove 3. No! Waffles. Bad Waffles. Oh no. Waffles would have been shooed so hard. No. Alright, so I'm bracing that so I can put that back in with a good ruler. Because I kind of want to have this be as straight as I can get it. That's better. And there was stretch across the floor. So he lives for another... Oh no. Very much fair. I laugh, but I'd probably be like, are you f***ing kidding me? So I completely understand. But that is a very smart and rebellious kitty at the same time. And he managed to get into the yarn and get some of it out of there. You can open the latch tabs. Ruh-roh. Speaking of, I think, yeah, that's what the giant tub is. It's a kind of a latch, like the little things on the side, I'm willing to bet, where it's like you put those up and then you can get the lid up. I'm guessing that's what those are. Yes. Very smart kitty. It is both very good and very bad. Alright. Let's add lines. Yeah, arguably I don't think I'd be able to see lower lined past there. Maybe. Alright. But yeah, now that we have those lines straight, let's see how mediocrely I did this. Yeah. Whoops. Yeah, I think I want to keep it up here. That's where the majority of the line is. So that's gonna need to be shorter. These, let's grab that while I sit here and adjust. Yep, that's the pretty much, except mine's a bit taller, but that's pretty much the thing that I have with those little things on the side. So yeah, exactly what I was talking about. Okay. But yeah, the lack of height probably helps being able to reach those. Okay. Oh, so what is this? Okay, emails I don't care about. Please go away. I would really love to be able to make sure... No. No clue either, but... Found a way. Found a way, certainly, I can tell you that. Alright, and then that comes through here. Okay, it's somewhat level over here. Yeah, that's good. Alright, and then I need to erase these tile lines, because I feel like the angle's not quite right anyway. Oops. Ooh, let's not accidentally close the dashboard. That would be an irritating time. But I did not have to adjust terribly much with these lines. So that's a good thing at least. Come on. Also, remember last week with the GeoGuessr? The reason why the first round took so long, the first thing of a round, I forgot what you call that group, because each thing is called a round. But yeah, the reason why those were so hard, because that was moderate. And I was just like, that explains a lot. Because the one where it's like, places from the movies, that one was an easy rated one. So basically, if I'd paid attention and saw that, you know, that wasn't an easy one, we wouldn't have sat through a good majority of stream playing that one thing. Which, it's a good thing I somehow didn't pick up a hard mode one. We would have been there, like, we would have not left. Yeah, I was thinking afterwards, and I was just like... Although, I think that's why I chose the Around the World one, because I saw that, I was like, oh... That's why. That explains many things here. So, you live and you learn. But it makes sense, not having played the game before. That I wouldn't really notice something like that. Alright. Let's see. If I'm going like this, yeah, this line should be somewhere about here. Although, arguably a little bit higher than that. And even that, though. Because I'm trying to keep it square-ish. Okay, let's get rid of these. The best that I can, anyway. And it's fine if I don't completely get rid of it. It's the sketchbook. I'll be fine. I don't know, but I'll be fine. Alright, so now that we have that all set, let's pull out my... Which, we're not painting, but you'll see what I'm gonna be up to in a minute. Wait, let me actually have OBS up so I don't do this. Alright, so let's see. Is there a grass screen? Yeah, there is. So I have a 24 set of Ohuhu markers, or however you say them. Which these are pretty nice, but the only thing is that the light colors are a bit saturated. But I had seen this, I saw this in one of those Drawing with Waffles YouTube videos, and I'm just like, I could have done that before. Basically, I'm using the palette because it's porous. And this is, what is this, 70%? Yeah, 70%. Of that alcohol. Basically, it's rubbing alcohol, the 70% one. Although I do want to get the 99% one, that'd be better if I'm using it with markers. But yeah, I'm basically using this to lighten up colors as possible. Wait. Yeah, I said I wasn't going to do here, but I can lightly get over here and basically get that color. Without it going completely through. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't, as long as I use it quickly enough, plus I can always spray a little bit more in there. But yeah, basically allows me to use little lighter bits of color. Which I was playing around with this the other day and did... Well, actually not the other day, like 2 days ago, and I did this with like bits of the greens and blues, and you could see the actual marker color and the much lighter color I managed to get upon mixing that. So it's a bit of experimenting. It also depends like how much of that this stuff ratio. You have. There's. So basically it's like getting to paint and use the markers at the same time. You can see the pencil starting to bleed a little bit, but it's fine. But it definitely helps me to be able to show at least a difference in values that you can't really get otherwise. Alright. There's that. Okay, I'm still not quite not sure about this. Let's see. Yeah. It'd have to be here, but then the line has to follow the entire way. That's what my problem is. There should be a bit of line here. Plus this is like 6-inch long ruler, so the reach is not that long. It's fine. It's fine. I'm done. A little bit of that. I've honestly kind of pondered getting like the larger sets of these, but it's just like, for right now, it's not necessary. let's see. That goes there. And then, let's see. Which one of these are pinks? I swatched this in the book here, way back. Somewhere here. I did study. There it is. Yeah, that's pink. It says pastel pink, but it's really not a pastel pink. It's a little too bright to be pastel pink. And even though this is a cherry pink, it is also, it's a red, which makes no goddamn sense to me, but okay. Where is it? Pastel pink it is. And then yeah, it's like, that is not pastel. Like, that is not even remotely the definition of pastel. Which, this is why you swatch things. Or else you'll end up with stuff like that happening. If you just go by the color name, they dupe you a good chunk of the time. That, or it's just the color doesn't really go with the name on the rare occasion. Although arguably with like much larger sets, it's gonna be harder to come up with proper color names. I mean, yes, it's someone's job, but, you know, it ain't easy. Careful. Yeah, I need to spray that again. But yeah, it does dry up a bit. But given I'm not using it for like really large areas, it's pretty much alright for what I'm doing. Alright. Remember, it's like a bunch of green in there. So I can pull back this. Did I put back the grass green? Yes, I did. Nope, this is glass. Yeah, this is glass green. Grass green is right over there. Which I realized I made a mistake when I was swatching and I put both of them as grass green. Just because, you know, one letter difference between glass and grass green. So, that was the thing and I was just like, oh, cool. It's a good thing I know which one's which. But I did put the correct number, so not the worst thing in the world. Come on. I know I missed that one in the back. Whoops. Oh, so I realized a thing with the pen. If I want the pen to bleed on purpose, I realized I could just use, you know, one of my water brush pens or like get a little bit of water and do the same thing. And it won't, you know, bleed through to the paper on the other side. So that's a thing. Don't know why that didn't occur to me before. Yeah, the color might muddle in this a little bit. Wish I should probably get... Yeah, I'm just cleaning the brush with this because it still has a bit of green in there. And it should get the color out to a degree. Do you have... You have tissue. Let's see. Let's get that away from there so I don't accidentally close this screen. And then put another thing with this because that's quite muddy. Although I can actually just clean this out with the tissue because that's going to absorb the color. And then come back with this to layer that over there. So I can get another layer of this pink. Arguably, if I really wanted to, I could just go in with the marker, but the marker's probably a wee bit too saturated for this. But they do actually have a pastel set also. I'm leaning in where the camera is, I suspect. Yeah. Oh well. Oh, that's what I was... I'd forgot I'd put that all the way up there. Whoopsie. Taking dot, no worries. You are not missing terribly much. Oh, so this is gonna smell like rubbing alcohol for a while. At this rate. Do. Oh well, yeah, I could just put my paintbrush in there. That'd be fine. Or just spray it, that'd be smarter. And then come back around with this green. Let that dry a little bit and come through some of these with the really dark purple. Let's see. Yeah, brush. It's like a really midnight purple. It's stupid dark. This is definitely the closest I am to getting to that. Although arguably the color in the reference is more of a warm, because this feels like more of a cool purple, but it's fine. Okay, yeah, it's fine. Gently. Oops. There it is. Yeah, I'm gonna have to probably do this with the rest of them. Or else it's just gonna look weird. Oh, I do feel like I probably should have left this alone. Too late now. Careful. And then I can maybe go over that with the green once again and get that to Oops. Yeah, it's definitely gonna make that look too... If I try to like blend that out like that, that's definitely gonna be bad. Alright, so yeah, I'll just leave that alone from there. Okay, what are we gonna do with this guy? Do you wanna keep it blue? Yeah, I can keep it blue. It's fine. Although, I can maybe go over this with a little bit of color splendor. It's a little bit better. Try not to go too hard over here. I don't want this being too visible. This side. Let's see. Maybe coral pink and mix that with a little bit of red. And then, let's see. Is this cherry? It should be cherry. Yeah. Like, look at this color and look at this cap color. These two do not correlate at all. Thus being why you do not trust the cap color when you're trying to use things. Come on, hurry up. Fill in those little gaps because it's patchy. Alright, man, it's gonna still be a little patchy. It's fine. Alright, and let's spray a little on this to get this color off. Alright, so now we've got that. Let's see. Where is it? It's a cloud blue. Well, it's darker than this blue. Although, let me put on a bit of color splendor down first and see how that goes. Ah! And then come back again with that. Maybe. How much time are we working with? Oh, wow. So I guess I'm gonna probably end up going a little bit over time. Not terribly much, but probably at least 5-10 minutes. Yeah. Wow, it's so light blue I can barely even note that it's blue. Alright, get the rim of this, and then see if I can grab a little bit more of this color here. See if that'll help. Mm-hmm. Okay, how do I feel about this? Eh. I'll go over that with maybe a bit of that cloud blue. Maybe. Because that shouldn't be too hard of a shift. I hope. Okay, that one's a little bit more saturation to it, which is what I wanted. In spots. So that works out well. And then come back with this green. Green. Did I put green back? I think I did. Grass green. There we are. Which this is just straight grass green. Alright. Oops, wow. I put on the wrong. It's fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. Alright. And then, how deep is the darkest? Let me check my swatches back here. Nope. Not here. So many. Ignore that. I think it'd be, yeah, cerulean blue. If not, no, brilliant. Brilliant blue is probably the best one. And maybe that mixed with a little bit of that aubergine. Alright, let's go with those two. Whoops. And I'll need to be quick about it. Also, I just went out the line. Whoops. Oh, I hadn't figured out what the heck. Alright. Let's see. Whoops. Need to pay attention to me actually closing these. Oh yeah, that's definitely way more purple. Oh, I don't think I mind that. Do. There it is. Ta-da! Alright. Where is it? Potato brown, orange, and then a wee bit of black. I need some dirt. Potato brown's not that dark. It's brown, but it's not the brown that I would want for dirt, so let's see. Probably move this over here so I can actually see what I'm doing. And then what is this? Is this from? Yeah. Just want a double stroke. Alright. That should be a good dark brown here. Let's see. Oops. Went over a stem. It's fine. Alright. Yeah. That too. Alright, so it fixes that dirt mostly. Which I could layer over that with the potato brown and get it more brown. Ba-ba-da. Alright, how far? Okay, I've only been 5 minutes over time, it's fine. Might leave the tile alone, but I think I want to give this thing color. What color I want? Maybe I can go these. Do 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 do. Oh. Alright, let's see. There it is. Alright. Gently. Which this is dark, but given the fact that it dries a bit lighter, I don't mind. Come on. Whoops. Gonna have to clean this off. But given the hole I'm using rubbing alcohol, it helps being able to remove this. This is a bit easier than dealing with paint sometimes. Although I do want to paint a little bit more in here. Maybe tomorrow? Whoops. I could have gone with the tinier brush, but I figure it's fine. Yeah, it's definitely, yeah, that's what I thought. Oh well. Let's see. Put all of these guys back. Do I want the fence? Okay, that's dry. Yeah, it dries quickly. That's still wet because I just did that. But everything else is pretty much dry. Let's see. Move this out of the way. I could go in back there with my color pencils. Let's see. Maybe this one. What's this color again? Mulberry. It's definitely a reddish purple. Allows it to tie in with everything. Which I would have done it with these. That would have probably made life a little bit easier, but I feel like dealing with the blending. Even though this definitely blends better than wax base ones. Although the sharpening is where it has issues sometimes. You can definitely tell these are cheaply manufactured color pencils, but I knew that going in, so I'm not exactly shocked. But I do like them. They're a slightly better material, but, you know, slightly better material would be me buying the polychromos, which I do not have the budget for, because those things be expensive. I mean, yes, you could always just, like, buy individual pencils one at a time, like slowly build up from there, but yeah, because they're also oil-based pencils, so this is like the cheap version of those. Do. Do. I do wonder if this would be easier if I did this in water instead, but I have a feeling with the marker, I mean. But I suspect that probably wouldn't work out as well. That would just thin out everything and make it not as effective. But such is life. Alright. So, let's see. Those there, and then what else? I could have a bit of greenery in the background, but it's not that pressing of a deal. I could just leave it as is, honestly. Which I think is probably what I'm gonna do. Which, if that's the case, I think I might end here, because we're, what, 3 hours and about 15 minutes in? But we did get 3 pages of drawing done, which definitely enjoyed. I might poke out some details with color pencils offline to make it look a little bit better, but overall, pretty much done. I do want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. Not sure if Jane's gonna be back. I suspect not. It's pretty much fine. Gonna need to clean that out, but that should be pretty easy affair. Speaking of, hi! I just got back. I figured. I was like, either I was just gonna miss you or not. But yeah. Worked out well. I mixed some purple, mixed some blues to have some, like, contrasting tones, and then finally broke out the color pencils for here, but I might go in some spaces to add some details, but I like it. I don't normally do spreads, but this was nice. But yeah, this blood through here, I was trying to avoid that, but alas, it's fine. We don't really need to see the snail perfectly back here. I'll live. I could draw more snails elsewhere. Yeah, let's see this side. Yep, it bleeds through right here too. That's a sketchbook, which this also means I have 11 more pages left, so we're getting ever closer to filling this thing, which I have still not decorated the outside. I need to eventually get to that at some point, maybe. But yeah, you could kind of see, if you look closely, about when I got the purple pen, because you can see like little sections in here where it's like you can kind of sort of see the purple. I'm not sure if you can tell on camera, but you can kind of tell the side where it's like all of a sudden you start seeing like little purple, and it's like, yep, that's about where I got the purple pen, isn't it? Alright, let's knead this and then put this back in its thingy. Did the dog have an adventure, or decided that inspecting a random bush was a cool idea? Let's see. Do I have a cap on? Yeah, the cap's somewhere over there. Let's make sure I don't lose that. Put these pencils here. Put this lid here. Trying to avoid not having things be a mess. Come on. There it is. Oh, there's the lid for this. Because this was a... what's its face? A hand sanitizer, but I finished the hand sanitizer a while ago, so using that for other stuff instead. Alright, and let me go. Hi, I have a face. Also, it's dark. Jeez, it's a bit dark in here. I had fun with that. I'm gonna likely head off now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed me doing the thing. Let's see. I'm pretty sure there should be someone. I think Pixie Blue is on. I know she's doing crafting stuff, but I can probably send a host over her way, because I really do enjoy watching her weave stuff and things. Even though I know it's gonna be a small host, because not many people stop into the art streams at times, which that's fair. Plus, I imagine Twitch is a bit quiet at this point. So, it be what it be. Also, did I pin? Yeah, I accidentally pinned it. Damn it. I really need to stop doing that. Wait for this ad to leave me alone. And we'll head over there. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I don't think I have anything to talk about here in the way of alerts. I do not, but that was fun to play around with my art supplies. I'll be back again on Friday, which, 2 notes, anybody lurking, listening, Friday is my last stream of this year. So after Friday, I will not be here for the rest of 2021. I'm going to be going off and doing things, so on and so forth. So, hopefully I will see you guys then. Reminder, I have 2 giveaways going to be happening, so just keep in mind how much floof you currently have for that. And I will see you guys then.